You're listening to Ask When, the podcast. Folks from all walks of life talk about their daily hustle and bustle, living and celebrating life, sharing tips on becoming champions, especially for those who are muscling mental and physical disabilities. Ask When, the podcast, with your host who has mustered over 30 years living with cerebral palsy and going strong. Author and cerebral palsy advocate Wynn Charles. Ask When, the podcast starts right now.
Welcome to Ask When, everyone. Today I have Molly with me, and I'm going to let Molly take it away and explain about what she does.
Hello, my name is Marlisse Hardamon. I'm an educator. I teach U.S. history for ninth graders. What I do on the side is I run my own speaking business called Transformation Speak, and we deal with helping young people or helping people in general move from that space of tragedy to triumph. It has a lot to do with why I'm an educator, because I firmly believe that young people need to have the skill of moving from tragedy, from bad things happening, to stress and violence and unknown viruses, to a place where they can still triumph. So that's what my speaking business does, and that's what I do every day in the classroom. I try to promote that idea of, you never have to be stuck. You have to push past that and move to a place where you can triumph, where you can be a victor, whatever that looks like for you.
Awesome. And I unfortunately, it took me a couple of days to realize what went on. I unfortunately walked away from the education field. I was forced to walk away from the education field due to what's going on right now worldwide. My ex-school didn't have a plan, and they go, we don't know what's going on. And so I was forced to make the tough decision: do I stay or do I go? And my heart said, well, quit now while the getting's good. You were going to quit in May anyway. So I had to sever my ties with my ex-school, the ex-school that I taught at, not the school that I'm in, which is I'm getting a mass communications degree / journalism degree. And so, Molly, do you have any favorite tips for those who want to be motivational speakers?
I guess I would say the tips would be really for anybody. You have to find what you're passionate about. To get up and to talk to other people about something you're really not interested in will never yield you any real satisfaction. It might for a little while yield you money, but to be the best you can be, it has to be met with passion. So I would suggest if you want to be a motivational speaker or anything, a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, is that it has to be connected to what you're passionate about. You have to be able to bridge that gap, because then you can deal with the hard times that are ultimately going to come with anything that you try to do.
Well, my passion is teaching people about disabilities. That's why I'm getting a journalism degree slash mass communications degree. And so you're saying, Molly, that follow your passion and then get on the motivational speaking circuit if you can.
Yes. There are lots of people trying, especially in the motivational speaking field, who are trying to get you to buy programs to help you figure out your way, how to get gigs or speaking, engagements. But I honestly believe the first thing is you have to figure out what you're passionate about, and then let that lead you to what you want to speak about, because there are thousands of things that you can speak about, but unless you have a passion, like you said, working, educating people with disabilities is a passion for you. That alone would lead you down, because there are lots of places that people really need to hear that message and understand the difficulty. And especially now when we're talking about going online. I have a grandson who has cerebral palsy, and he has severe cerebral palsy. And going online for him just isn't going to be a quality education. So schools need to have someone. They need to hear the voice of somebody who's able to say, this is what people with disabilities need. This is what they don't need.
You're speaking my language. Hello? That's why I'm trying to get this journalism degree, so I can be an advocate for those who have CP, and not only CP, but other disabilities, because online schooling is majorly difficult for all of us.
Right.
And so, Molly, if you had to move houses and could only take 3 things with you, what would they be?
One would definitely be my computer. I don't think I could function without it. The other one would be my grandson's eye gaze machine, because he can't function without it. And the third thing would definitely be my Bible. If I could have those 3 things, I could survive anywhere.
So, your family, your face, and then your computer just to work off of. Well, I should quit saying 3 things, you guys. I should make it 4 things. How about that? How about that we change this question around, because people keep forgetting. Let's take the family members. I'm like, hello.
Oh,
Yeah,
and you're right.
yeah.
I did. I automatically assumed they were coming with me.
No, no. So the 4 things, you're not the only one, Malay, that's done that. The 4 things for Malay would be her computer, her family, and her face, and then her assistive device for a person with cerebral palsy, which
Right.
I find. You said the assistive device. You said repeat that so my listeners could understand that, and then we'll get into the complexity of what that does.
Well, actually, because his cerebral palsy is so extreme, he can't speak. So the eye gaze machine, actually, he's trained so that I can talk to him and he responds by looking at pictures, and the pictures his eye gaze machine transmit those pictures into words, so it makes a sentence.
So basically, he's trained to look at pictures via his eyesight, whereas most people are trained on a Frankie Muniz Liberator, and most people nowadays are using a iPad.
Okay, and an eye gaze machine is like a big iPad. Well, actually,
So,
it's like a big computer. It's like a
eye gauge. See, this assistive technology, you guys, has I use assistive. Well, I still do, but I was on my way to be using a assistive technology speaking device back in the 90s. But those things are so huge that now people are using iPads. So this eye gauge machine that Molly is talking about is similar to a Stephen Hawking talker, essentially what Stephen
yeah.
Hawking used. Okay, got you back on track now. Okay, so fan base, it's similar to what Stephen Hawking used, and I know exactly what I have a friend that also uses a similar machine to your grandson, so I know exactly what and it has these liberators have a syndicated voice, and the iPad does, but the iPad is a little bit more humanistic in my opinion. But for people with low motor skills, they can't use an iPad unless they're trained on it. And these devices are huge. These devices are not the small iPads that you and I are used to.
His eye gaze machine is about the size of a laptop, Apple laptop, the new
Okay.
ones.
Okay.
And they've gotten better because the voice, is programmed for he's 13, so it's programmed for a boy 13 years old. So it sounds just like a kid who's 13. It's not computerized anymore. They've kind of worked that bug out of it. So you really hear a 13-year-old kid's voice.
How cool is that? How cool is that? See, the ones I'm used to, I'm either used to the iPads or I'm used to the devices done by Frankie Muniz, which is a liberator company similar to the iGauge company. But the iPads are using computerized voices now, and the Frankie Muniz liberators are certainly using computerized voices. So I'm happy to hear that the company that does iGauge does a similar human voice.
Right.
That makes me so happy nowadays because assistive technology is changing. It sounds in my domain, and of course, we're all using assistive technology nowadays as we sit through this world health crisis, stress, economic crisis. So, Marlene, if you had to have your best friend write a book about you, what would the title be?
Probably From Tragedy to Triumph. I experienced sexual assault and physical abuse when I was a child. which meant I grew up as a teenager, very angry, very bitter,
Yeah.
very self-destructive. And as an adult, I kind of grew and healed and recovered. And now I'm like, even in this crisis, living my best life now. Just, being able to reach back and help people who are in a place where I used to be. So that's why I think that's my triumph. And my tragedy was my past abuse and sexual assault. So I would really believe that's what they call it, from tragedy to triumph.
Tragedy to triumph. Amazing. And then, um, what is it your favorite book, and what is it the title?
What's my favorite book? I read a lot of books.
Oh yes. Well,
I
pick
read,
one.
pick one. And I guess the one I most consistently read is the Bible. So that definitely is my favorite book because I go back to that a lot.
So you would say your favorite book is the Bible.
Yes.
You read a lot of books. And as we wrap this interview up, do you have any questions for me?
I have one. What made you start a podcast?
Well, I wrote a book a long time ago now, and that book is still available on Amazon. And Audible is giving you guys a discount on all books, not only my book, but I wrote a book called I, Win. I, WIN. And when I first published that book back in 2010, believe it or not, I figured, okay, now I hit publish. Great, now I'm a published author. Now, how the heck am I supposed to market this book? So at the time, I discovered podcasting and I got hooked on podcasting. I'm still a faithful listener to the Joanna Penn podcast out of the
Okay.
UK, and she helped me like she helped me give me the motivation to finish a book and plunk it down and publish it on Amazon and do all that. But then I thought, okay, I'm going to type in cerebral palsy. Do you know, Marlene, there was nothing when I searched cerebral palsy in my podcasting app. There was
I
nothing.
believe that. I believe
So, yeah, there was nothing. And so so what did I do? I started this podcast because there was nothing about cerebral palsy. And so I have since then got over 30,000 downloads of all this. And yeah, I, since the coronavirus hit, I have been blessed enough to be busy to start my motivational speaking career now and
Wow.
walked away from a very intense education job. And yeah.
That is awesome. I mean, it
Yeah.
really is. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. No, I know. So this is what I do day in, day out now. And so, yeah. And so, Marlena, where can people find you? Where can people get a hold of you?
Oh, they can. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. Uh, I'm on Facebook and Twitter. So I'm everywhere you want to be.
Yep.
For LinkedIn, it's under Marlisse Hardamon. For let me think. LinkedIn, yeah, LinkedIn is under Marlisse Hardamon. On Facebook, and Instagram, it's under Transformation Speaks. And then under Twitter, it's under Marlisse Hardamon at Transformation. So they can connect with me. They can connect with me, and I'm open to sharing whatever I have. Anything I've learned, I'm more than willing to share with someone to help them on their journey.
Well, thank you. Thank you for saying that. And yes, we need more inspirational people like you fighting a good fight of a family member with cerebral palsy, because fighting that fight, this is difficult.
It is. It's very.
There's the days that you want to bury your head in the sand and say, can I just bury my head in the sand and not come out from underneath my rock? And so,
and actually, that's how I felt when this virus hit. I was like, "Oh my goodness, no!"
Oh yes, because I don't know if my listeners know this, but Marlene's grandson and I both landed on the CDC list. For the first time in my life, I've never landed on a huge list like that. But because cerebral palsy is a neurological disability, no wonder why Marlene and I thought, can we bury our heads in the sand?
Yeah.
Because Marlene, being a family member with cerebral palsy, she thought, okay, this is scary now. This is scary now that the coronavirus and cerebral palsy come head to head. I'm like, never in my life have I landed up on the list. As soon as I found, and I didn't know that the CDC had produced a list, and I found out about it.
And I didn't know that until you just know.
You didn't know that until I just said it.
No. So I guess I can look at the list.
That's a little. No, but that's a little. I can see if I have it in my phone and send it to you. No, but apparently the CDC has said, and I'll look this up, you guys. The CDC has said that cerebral palsy and coronavirus are a match made in heaven.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, yikes, yikes, but the other direction, yikes. So, okay. So now I have to not only look it up for you, Marlene, but I have to look it up for my fan base, because when I found that out, I'm like, yikes, but the other direction now, because I didn't one good. And so that's why I want to bury my head in the sand, because I have never been put on a national list.
Right.
I almost got written up in a medical journey, but in a medical journal, but that was in 2006 for almost for surviving propofol infusion syndrome. I'm the youngest person ever to survive propofol infusion syndrome, and that happened to me when I was 17 and a half. But this is the second time I have been on the list, and yikes, it's scary. And so what I'm going to do, you guys, is I'm actually going to look it up and see if I can find a link for you guys and see what we can do, because
that is one. I mean, that is a very good idea.
Well, yeah, because so many people don't know.
And that's what I was going to say, because I'm not mad they focused on the elderly, and they need to be focused on, but there is another population that they need to be just as concerned about.
Hello? You're speaking my language. You're speaking my language. Hello? Disabled over here. Cerebral palsy. Elderly.
Yes.
We love the elderly. Don't get me wrong, but hello?
Right.
We need to be speaking on the disabled front, and that's what I'm trying to do, you guys. And so, yeah. So we'll have all of Marlene's information in the show notes, and you go find her, you go support her, and support cerebral palsy awareness as well, you guys. Thanks to you guys.
You just listened to Ask Win, the podcast. To become a guest in the show, visit our website at askwin.weebly.com or call 816-591-3399. Just look for Danielle. Connect with Win on Twitter at WinKellyCharles and like our Facebook page at Butterflies of Wisdom. You can also purchase Win's book through Amazon.com or get a copy of the audiobook through Audible. Ask Win, the podcast.